bump and grind it. So live in the music, that's why I feel so beautiful, magical, like the ball. So get up on the dance floor. Let your body move to the music. Hey, 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 on the floor. Let your body go with the flow. You do it, Beauty's where you find it. Move to the music. Beauty's where you find it.
Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 497th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. As you know, I usually just put a battle on a Saturday, but some people have asked me if I could put a battle on during the week, so I thought I'd put a Wednesday bonus battle on for you to watch. And this is a really good battle, and this battle was fought back in May, so it's a few months old, and as I say, it's a pretty good battle. As you can see, I fought once again on one of my favourite maps, a Germanic forest map with the big open plains if you want to fight out in the open, or I got the woods for the woods bonus if you want to bring barbarian troops. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Mad King, and Mad King has got 18 infantry and 2 cavalry. Okay, 18 infantry and 2 cavalry, so he's gone obviously very heavy on the infantry here, and I'm just wondering whether 18 infantry will make up for just having 2 cavalry. It'd be interesting to see as the battle unfolds. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who's bought his faction of choice, the Greek cities. Now Steve has got 14 Spartans and 3 of the long-range Cretan archers. Okay, as I say, that is his faction of choice, and it'll be interesting to see how well he uses it during the course of the battle. Our next teammate is a Brotherhood member Schemer, or 8 Ball, as a lot of you might know him, and he's got 13 infantry, 1 light auxiliary unit, and 6 cavalry. Okay. And he's got, I think he's got different upgrades on his infantry. You'll see some units have just got gold shield, gold attack, and some of his infantry have got 7 upgrades on an experienced striped gold shield, gold attack. Okay, as I say, mixed upgrades there within his army. And if you notice here at the front of his army, he's got an auxiliary unit, a light auxiliary unit. You don't see these very often on the 31k battlefield, but as long as they stand their ground, they'll soak up pilers as good as any other expensive unit. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good army. It'd be interesting to see how well that does during the course of the battle. Okay, our next teammate is myself, a Spartan commander who has unusually bought the Britannia faction and a very old balanced Britannia army. Okay, I've got 9 chosen swordsmen, 5 head hurlers, and 6 chariots. Okay, so it is a very balanced, old-fashioned army here. I say these chosen swordsmen with good upgrades on, you'd be surprised how tough they can be if you use them correctly. In past battles, these guys have helped to win the battle for our team, so that's why I always like to incorporate them in my army. Now, I've only got 5 head hurlers, but remember that these head hurlers have got effective against armor heads. And in a modern Britannia army, you'll see some people bring 14 head hurlers and 6 chariots. Now, those head hurlers, those 14 units, don't make no mistake, they can be devastating and can be battle-winning troops. If you use them behind your allies' infantry to throw those effective against armor heads over your allies into the enemy team, these can be absolutely devastating. But if by the time your 14 units of head hurlers have thrown all their heads and they haven't tipped the balance of the battle in your team's favour, all you've got is 14 light infantry. Okay, so make no mistake, 14 head hurler units can be devastating and battle-winning troops, but if they don't tip the balance of the battle in favour of your team by the time they've thrown all their heads, all you've got is 14 light infantry. Okay, so that's why I tend to like bring a balanced army with chosen swordsmen and head hurlers there. And of course the chariots here, if you notice here, I've got barbarian warlord chariots, and the Britannia faction has got 2 types of chariots. They've got the heavy chariots that are about 580 denarii, and these barbarian warlord chariots are over 1,000. But the difference is the ordinary heavy chariots have just got 3 hit points. These barbarian warlord chariots have got 5 hit points. Plus the Britannia chariots don't run amok, and I think pound for pound these barbarian warlord chariots are probably the best chariots in the game, as I say, because they don't run amok. And we've seen other chariots and other factions run amok, killing both friend and foe alike. Okay, so we've got quite a diverse team there. I think we've got Rome. Yeah, we've got Rome. We've got Greek cities. We've got Rome, and we've got Britannia. Okay, this should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy this bonus battle. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Barclayman, who has bought the Carthage faction. Now, Barclayman has got 14 Sacred Band and 4 Slingers and 2 hidden cavalry units there. Okay, look at the upgrades on his infantry. 8 upgrades. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on all of his Sacred Band units. Okay. He's got, so that's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on all of his Sacred Band units, making them serious infantry. Okay, he hasn't got any heavy cavalry. Okay, no heavy cavalry, but he's got 2 light auxiliary missile cavalry units hiding in the woods. Okay. Right, the next teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. Now, Lando has got 9 infantry, 7 archers, and 3 cavalry. Okay, 9 infantry, 7 archers and 3 cavalry, and an old school armoured cavalry general. Okay, very low infantry numbers, I think, for the modern day battlefield. Quick look at the upgrades on his archers there, and you'll see he's got 7 upgrades. An experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Make no mistake, these are serious archers, and he's bought this many archers for a particular reason. Think of our team. Why do you think he's bought all those archers there? His cavalry, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. And of course he's got the old school armoured cavalry general, which is fully upgraded. Okay, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, plus that unit's got 2 hit points. Okay, so that's a very tough unit going. As we know, Lando is one of the best users of this particular unit in the whole of RTW. Be interesting to see how well he does with it. Okay, but only 9 infantry, very small amount of infantry for the modern day battlefield. Now, as I say, the reason he's bought those 7 archers is because I've bought Britannia, and he would love to target my head hurlers. He knows how devastating the head hurlers can be with their effective against armour heads, and that's why he's bought that many archers, hopefully to be able to shoot up my infantry, who are also susceptible to archers, but mostly my head hurlers. Okay, their next teammate is RTW player Ambierix. A lot of you know Ambierix, very good player. He's got the bog standard Roman army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, and of course the reason that's a bog standard Roman 31k army is because it's so effective and so efficient. Okay, let's go and see if we can find their last teammate, who seems to be hiding in the woods. And there we are, we can see him there. This SBQR army, and this is Renegade Turk. A lot of you will know Turk, very good 31k player, and he's also got the bog standard 31k Roman army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, so that's the enemy team there. As you can see, all very good players, and I say it's got the potential to be a great battle, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd just have a look at Mad King's battle formations here. As you can see, he split his army into 2 mini armies there. Okay, now we've seen this done before on the battlefield, and that can be very effective. Depends on how you use them, of course, but I think that could be very effective use of all that infantry that he's bought, but only 2 cavalry. Let's see what happens. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, I mean literally the game has just started, you can see that Turk here is going to be extremely aggressive. Now what he was hoping for was my Britannia army was going to be closer to him than what it is. And what he was planning to do there was to strike my Britannia army with his elite Roman infantry in a view to probably take my Britannia army out. But of course, as a lot of you know, I always start my army at the rear of my map as far as I can, if you like, to stop lightning attacks on my troops. So, although he's really wants to be aggressive and really like to attack my Britannia troops, because my troops are so far back, he won't be able to do that. Okay, you can see Lando here, bang, he smashes in using the armoured cavalry general once again to great effect. As we've said before, harassing, haranguing, causing disruption, annoying enemy generals. Okay, so as you can see here, with Turk moving round here to our left flank, look how far away he is from his nearest ally. Okay, now veterans watching this and new players alike, can you see a big tactical disadvantage here for the enemy team by what he's doing? Because what I'm thinking here, if Schemer lets him move around a bit more, he could then attack him there with his Julia army, and I could then turn my Britannia army with those big attacking aggressive chariots there as well to attack that SBQR army as well. So both Schemer and myself could do a double attack on Turk if he keeps moving around our left flank. Okay, just keep a heads up, give you a heads up on that, because that's what we're looking to do here. If he keeps moving around, okay, it's alright being aggressive on the 31k battlefield. Okay, grabbing the initiative, running with the initiative there, attacking enemy troops, making them kind of have to react to you. But if you are over aggressive, you can get kind of isolated, and as you can see how far away he is from his allies. Make no mistake, we have spotted this. Okay, now what the plan is here, if I remember right, bearing in mind this battle was fought back in, I think it was April time. Schemer's going to attack him with his army there, his Julii army there. Okay, now Amberix is probably going to try and link up with his SBQ ally, but so we've got to block him there. So as I say, I think Schemer's going to hit him, and then I'm going to move my Britannia army as well, so we're going to double hit SBQR. Now Steve's going to be the anchor of the team here. He's going to act as a blocking force against Amberix, his Scipio troops there, stop him getting over to his ally. Okay, so that's the plan. Schemer and myself's going to hit the SBQR army, and Steve's going to act as a blocker against the enemy reinforcements get into Turk. Okay, so that's the basic plan there. Now let's see if we can work that plan. Okay, now Turk can see the danger here. Surely he can see our Julio ally looking to cut him off. He must be able to see my Britannia army there moving towards him. So you think he would move his SBQ army maybe back or out the way of harm's way there, if you see what I mean. But he's not. Let's just pause again for a second. He looks like he's setting up ready to be attacked. So as I say here, you can see here that Lando here with his archers. Okay, he wants to target my Britannia army. That's why I have to keep them so far at the rear there, to keep them out of archer range. But of course, keeping them so far away from my allies, if we have to do anything quickly, then of course I'm quite a long way away. As I say, because I have to strike a balance of keeping my barbarian army out of archer damage, if you see what I mean, range. But also try and keep as close as I can to my allies to help them if we're going to do anything fast. So now I've got to now move my Britannia army over to attack the SBQR army from further away than what I would like to. And as you can see, Schemer's moving straight in there. So I now have got to start moving my army over to attack the SBQR troops there with my Julio ally. But as I say, when you've got a barbarian faction, you've got to keep them at the rear of your allies to keep them out of enemy archer range, because of course barbarian troops are so susceptible to archer damage. Okay, so I'm now starting to move my troops towards that, because we've got the plan sorted there. But as you can see here, Schemer moving over. He really wants to hit Turk quite hard. You can see Lando's general here attacking the rear of Schemer's troops as he's moving them over towards the enemy SBQR troops. You can see Steve moving his Greek cities over as well. Okay, but as I say, my Britannia troops are so far away because I have to keep them out of enemy archer range that I think I could reach the party a bit late, if you see what I mean. Right, you can see Schemer here charging his cavalry and looked to charge his cavalry and then backed off. He's going to suffer a lot of pilot damage there, though. Can you see the enemy SBQR infantry throwing their pilots in there? As you can see, Turk has decided he's going to stand and fight there. He's not going to move his army out the way, even though he can see our army is moving towards him. If you notice here, I've moved my chariots out to the flank. As you know, I like to charge in with my chariots into the flank of engaged enemy troops. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. So, as you can see, Amberox here, being a good player that he is trying to team up with his isolated SBQR teammate. Might be able to try and smash into our Julio ally. Steve's looking to block him with his Greek city units. Okay, as I say, I'm running my Britannia army over, infantry, head herders and chariots, to try and coordinate with my Julii ally here in smashing the SBQR troops on our left flank. Okay, but as I say, I'm quite a long way away from the potential battle here. So I just wonder if Schemer's going to wait for me to get closer, or whether he's just going to charge straight in. We'll have to wait and see. You can see Ambiorix here moving his Scipio troops closer and closer to his SBQR ally. If you notice here, you can see the SBQR general is starting to move a little bit towards his ally himself. So I think Schemer's going to have to attack here, and there he goes in with his infantry. He's got his cavalry locked and loaded, and he's pulled the trigger, and they're charging in, and bang, as that Julio cavalry smashes in there. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. So, okay, our Julio ally is going to smash into the SBQ, our enemy troops. Steve's going to try and be the blocker against the Scipio infantry. I've got my chariots locked and loaded, ready to charge in. Can you see the SBQ, our general, spotted my chariots and has moved infantry over there as a blocking force against my chariots there to stop me hitting his main engaged infantry. I'm moving my infantry, overhead hurlers and chosen swordsmen here to attack at the same time. Okay, but at the moment here you can see that the SBQR general is counter-attacking our Julii ally here. Now, has our Julii ally attacked too soon before I can get there? Here comes the SBQR cavalry, get ready, and bang, as I smash into our Julii ally, routing Julii units on impact there. Oh my gosh, it looks like a lot of schemers units have now been routed from the SBQR cavalry attack. Oh my gosh, there's enemy Scipii cavalry coming in as well. Okay, now make no mistake here, as we know, Ambiorix is a very good player, and he is targeting the Julii general with his pilots. Can you see all those pilots going into Julii general? Reduce that 82-man unit down to 28 already. Now, if he smashes in that unit with his cavalry, he's going to rout Schemer's general as well. Okay, and you can see that Scipii cavalry charging in. Make no mistake, it's going to be a surgical strike straight into Schemer's general there. As I say, if he takes out his general, of course, he would take away the general morale bonus that his team's getting. I'm moving my Britannia troops over as fast as I can. Okay, but you can see that Scipii infantry. Make no mistake, he's going to target the Julii general. And bang, as I smash in there, there's pilots going into the Scipii, into the Julii general, and bang, and yes, the Julii general has now been routed. Okay, and I think has now been killed as well. So Schemer's lost his general there. As I say, Steve's trying to be the anchor there. But you can see that Scipii cavalry really charging in there against Schemer's Julii troops. As I say, Steve's got his Greek city units involved there. He could well be trying to hold Scipii and SBQR troops there. Mad King's got his 2 cavalry units in there. And I'm just moving my infantry and head hurlers over there. But if you notice, my guys are winded already. And of course the barbarian troops, their morale's not very good. Anyway, if they get winded, their battle proficiency is not very good. I'm going to charge my chariots in as soon as my infantry make contact with the enemy infantry. Okay, so you can see here my chosen swordsmen now are charging in to those SBQR infantry. Steve there is doing well with his Greeks. He's right. My chariots are now on the way. Okay, the chariots are now, the trigger's been pulled on those chariots and they are now charging in. I've got my head hurlers throwing heads into that SBQR infantry. Okay, the chariots have now arrived, and bang, as I smash into those SBQR infantry. I see the SBQR general try to put his units into Testudo there before the chariots hit. But as you can see, I've got my chosen swordsmen, I've got my chariots in there. Okay, here comes the SBQR cavalry counter-attacking my chariots and infantry, and bang, as I smash in to my infantry and chariots there. But you can see I've got all my chosen swordsmen, all my chariots. We've got 2 Brutii cavalry units of Mad Kings in there as well, and we've taken out the SBQR general. Okay, so I think my Britannia troops were maybe a bit late getting there because I was so far back out of archer range, but we've managed to do what we've wanted to do, and that's taken out most of the SBQR infantry, which was the initial plan. Okay, so let's say, right, I charge my chariots into the rear of those engaged SBQR infantry, and bang, as I go in there, routed those units. We've taken out the SBQR general as well. Okay, so let's pause the game there. So our plan has worked in respect of taking out the SBQR army. So I think all of Turk's army now basically has been taken out, which is what we wanted to do. Okay, but our Julii ally has suffered a lot of casualties in that attack there. Okay, you can see Ambiorix here moving his infantry forward, and you can see the Carthage general there, Bark, moving his infantry forward as well. Okay, but as I say, we've managed to take out the SBQR army, which is what our initial plan was. Mad King's 2, remember he split his army into 2. He's got one army there holding Lando, okay, and so that's a good move there, and he's got his other army in the fray there with our Britannia ally, Greek cities ally, and Julii ally there as well. So he's done well there in splitting his army. Now make no mistake here, Lando's archers in that close tight formation will be having a lot of impact and doing a lot of damage during the course of the battle. It wouldn't surprise me if in fact he even got the highest kills, even though he's only got a small army, but he uses his archers so well. Okay, I'm moving my head hurlers forward and my chosen swordsmen forward as well. But remember, my chosen swordsmen are very tired. Okay, that's one off of being exhausted, so their battle proficiency is really, really low. Their morale will be low as well because they're so tired, very tired. So what I'm going to try and do is pull them back from the fray for a short while as I can, just to try and let them rest. Okay, let them get kind of get their breath back, if you like, before I charge them in. Because barbarian troops' morale, as you know, is not very good, and if they get very tired or exhausted, their morale is really poor and they're more susceptible to routing. So I'm going to try and give my Britannia troops chance for a rest if I can before I throw them into the fray. As I say, because with them being so very tired like that, their battle proficiency is very low, and they could rout. So I'm going to try and give them a bit of a rest here. Steve's moving his Greek cities in towards the Carthage Sacred Band, and also you've got Schemers, Julio troops there moving in towards the enemy Scipio troops and those Sacred Band troops. Okay, I notice now Mad King has brought his 2 armies back. They're kind of almost integrated here, facing Lando's infantry and archers there. Okay, so I think at the moment things looking not too bad for our team. As I say, we've taken out all of Turk's army there. As I say, I thought this was a good example. If you are over aggressive, what can happen to your army? And as we've seen there, that's what happened with Turk's army here. As I say, Lando here will make the most of his archers. As we know, Lando is kind of an archer expert. We always see him bring lots of archers, and he always targets vulnerable targets. Like, he'll be targeting my head herders now with his archers, knowing how devastating they are. And of course I'm going to run them forward here because I want to try and help my allies by throwing those effective against heads into the enemy heavily armoured troops. Okay, you can see here Mad King moving one of his mini armies forward here towards the missile troops. But make no mistake here, Lando is really targeting my head herders here, but I just want to make the most of these head herders and throw those effective against armour heads into the enemy troops, causing big casualties and hopefully making things a little bit easier for my allies to rout those enemy troops. Okay, right, they can see Schemer here moving some of his Julio troops around the flank of the enemy. A nice tactical move there by Schemer. I thought that was a nice move there to attack the flank of the engaged enemy troops. As I say, I've moved my head herders forward here to pelt the enemy units there with the effective against armour heads. I've got my chariots ready to engage, but as I say, I don't really want to use my infantry yet because they're so tired. But as I say, you can see Schemer here move around the flank here to attack the flank of the engaged enemy troops. Okay, Steve's doing well here, making inroads into those Carthage Sacred Band. The same Mad King has brought one of his armies over here to help against the Carthage Sacred Band while keeping his other army facing Lando. Okay, so I think Mad King's making the most of his armies there, and you can see some of Schemer's rallied Julio units here are over on our right flank as well to try and help counter the threat of those enemy Scipio troops. Okay, but as I say, I'm loath to put my troops in when they're tired, because barbarian troops, if you put them in when they're tired, very tired or exhausted, their morale so low they can rout. So I'm trying to give them as much of a rest as I can before I throw them into the main fray here. Okay, but as you see here, our Julio ally is attacking the flank. As you can see here, as I say, my head herders are throwing those effective against armour heads into the enemy troops. Okay, it looks like I'm targeting either that Carthage unit there or the Scipio general behind that unit there with my head herders. Okay, but I can see here that the enemy Scipio troops are attacking my ally here on our left flank, attacking those Julio troops. Okay, so we just have to see what happens here. I can see some Scipio cavalry coming out of the woods. Looks like it's going to charge into our Julio ally. Right, you can see that cavalry charging in there, and bang! It smashes it into our Julio ally here on our left flank. Okay, I think he's doing well there to hold against that cavalry. As you can see, right, I've been forced, if you like, to move my troops forward now. Even though they're tired, I'm going to bring the chariots down as well with a view to smash into those Scipio troops. But as I say here, Schemer's doing well and holding against that cavalry and infantry, but I need to throw my infantry in even though they're tired. As I say, I know I've talked about this quite a lot, but if you use barbarian troops when they're tired, very tired or exhausted, their morale is so low they can rout, but I'm going to have to charge them in there on our left flank. As I say, I'm bringing the chariots down as well. Make no mistake, the chariots are locked and loaded and are ready to be having the trigger pulled. Okay, over here you can see Steve moving in with his Greek cities, but here, make no mistake here, as we know, Lando is a fantastic archer general, and he has been targeting our troops with those tight formation archers with more impact, more damage all the way through the battle. So as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if he had some really good kills at the end of the battle here. You can see some of our Julio's allies rallied troops there, helping our Brutio ally against Lando's infantry here over on our right flank. Okay, so there's a general overview of the battle, but things are kind of happening all over the place here. As I say, I'm going to move my Britannia chosen swordsman in here now to help my Julio ally against that massive Scipio attack. Okay, you can see my infantry going in. I've hit Warcry. Remember, you hit Warcry to increase the attack specifications of your barbarian troops there, and straight away you can see I've routed a heck of a lot of those Scipio troops. I'm bringing my chariots down here. As I say, they are locked and loaded and ready to go in. Okay, but we've routed most of those Scipio troops that were attacking our Julii ally there. Okay, you can see, I think it's Barclay Man bringing over a couple of his Numidian mercenary missile cavalry over to this left flank. But you can see here, I've got my infantry now. I will hit battle cry again. As I say, the battle cry button enhances their attack specifications. I've got my head herders there. Can you see they've just drawn their swords, so they've thrown all their heads, and you can see I'm charging my infantry with my Julii ally into those enemy Scipio troops, routing a couple of enemy units on impact. Okay, I don't like putting tired barbarian troops up against elite Scipio urban cohorts, but that's what's needed here. And you can see I'm charging the chariots in as well, and in goes the chariots, and bang, as they smash in there. We're bringing that big fear factor, destabilizing enemy units, helping to make them more susceptible to routing there as my chariots charge in. Let's say I've hit war cry on my infantry and my head herders, so they're all kind of having their attack specifications heightened there by war cry. And as I say, I've got my chariots there smashing into the rear of those engaged Carthage troops and enemy troops there as well. So that was a nice hit there, if I say so myself, by the chariots there smashing into the rear of those engaged troops there. Okay, we can see a lot of the enemy units starting to rout with a combination attack of chariots and those well upgraded chosen swordsmen, and don't forget the effect of those effective against armor heads hitting them as well. Okay, so let's just pause again for a second, take stock of what's actually happening here. So you can see my Britannia troops and the Julii troops there have routed a lot of the Scipii troops there between us, and of course the chariot impact as well. Okay, as you can see here, I'm trying to take out the slingers there with my chariots, as they've been shooting into us all the way through the battle as well. You can see they've been auto-attacked because they've pulled their swords out. Okay, so as I say, trying to rout them. And as I say, make no mistake here, Lando has been using his archers extremely effectively. As we've known in other battle videos, he is a really good archer general, and he does target vulnerable troops or the flanks or rear of engaged troops as well. He's got his cavalry here, he's got infantry units in behind us as well. Okay, so there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. I see a lot of those Scipio troops that have routed there. They're in big numbers, so I'm guessing they're going to rally and come back and kind of bite us in the butt, if you see what I mean. But you can see here that we're using a lot of our troops here to rout those Carthage Sacred Band units and the other Scipio units here. Okay, I'm taking my chariots over to the other flank here with a view to have a bit of revenge on Lando's archers there that's been shooting into my head herders for a long time and causing me big casualties. So those archers now are going to be targeted by my chariots, you can see, and the chariots are going to bang in there, and bang, look how they smash into those archers, throwing the archers up into the air as those chariots smash into them there. A bit of revenge there from my head herders there, from their colleagues, their charioteers. So that was that's good news for us. As I say here, though, we're moving forward there, but I saw a lot of big Scipii units there with lots of men in that routed, and my guess is they could well come back into the battle. You can see that Steve here is still moving towards what's left of the Carthage Sacred Band units with his Greek cities. But you can see Lando's cavalry here charging in as well. But as I say, you can see, as I say, those Scipii units there have rallied. Okay, I knew they were big numbers, and they're going to come back and probably attack my exhausted or very tired Britannia. They were exhausted troops. Okay, so make no mistake, the battle proficiency of my chosen swordsmen now has dropped off the edge of a cliff, plus their morale will be low as well. And with all those warmed up urban cohort, elite urban cohorts charging them, they could rout a lot of my Britannia units there. Okay, but as I say here, there's a general overview of the battle at the moment. As I say, Steve and our Julio ally moving in on those Carthage Sacred Band units. I've got chariots around the back there, but you've got Lando here with infantry and cavalry in behind us. Okay, but as I say, my main problem at the moment is those warmed up big urban cohort elite units coming in on my very tired or exhausted Britannia infantry. As I say here, Steve is moving his Greek cities towards what's left of the enemy Sacred Band here, leaving my exhausted and very tired chosen swordsman here to go up against these elite warmed up urban cohorts. Okay, so as I say, I think my units could rout quite easily here, bearing in mind that they're up against elite, as I say, urban cohorts here. And those urban cohorts, as I say, are just warmed up against my exhausted or very tired units there. In fact, I think my units have held quite well so far. Right, there's one of them just gone. And don't forget, those slingers are shooting into me all the time at close range. So I'm losing that as my general's just gone down. So the morale of my troops now will drop like a stone even more. And as I say, those slingers at point blank range, like a shooting slingshot straight into the rear and flank of my engaged troops there, causing big casualties. And with the general gone down as well, I'm not sure how long my Britannia troops be able to hold against these elite urban cohorts. But you can see here Steve has spotted the danger and running his Spartans over there to help, being a good teammate that he is. Look, straight over there. And he's hit that Scipio unit and has routed it now. So we just got the rest of those Scipio units to hit there as Steve's moving over his Greek cities there to attack them. I can see several of my Britannia chosen swordsman units have routed there. But Steve, I think, has got there just about in time there to save the rest of my Britannia troops there, who were probably almost ready to rout. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I say, Steve and myself here just finishing off the last of those Scipio troops. But if you look over this battlefield, you can see it is quite a spread out battlefield here. Everywhere you look, there's like been little battles or little skirmishes. You can see dead bodies in different parts of the battlefield. Okay, there's a few intense places where you can see where the battle was the most intensive, but you can see, as I say, like little battle places here all over the place. This is where we hit the SPQR troops there. And here you can see this is where I think there was the big scrap there between Carthage, Greek cities, and all the other units that were in that particular part there. You can see a lot of dead cavalry there as well. But as I say, it's a very spread out battle, and as I say, if you look around the battlefield, you can see like piles of dead all over the place. So it just goes to show how spread out the actual battle was. But from what I can see here, we're going to looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. So you just put that chariot unit in there as well. The fear factor alone will lower the morale of those Scipio troops, and with Steve moving in as well, there we go. And I think that possibly was the last of the enemy troops there. As I say, it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle. Now, do you think it'd be a close victory? Ah, right, okay. So first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. There's some good moves by a lot of players there. And as you can see, it's an average victory. I thought it might have been close, but maybe it must have just edged up into the average victory there. Just like to draw your attention to the highest kills in the game. Brotherhood member Lando, 1,490. Unusual for a player in the losing team to get the highest kills. So well done to him. And my guess is that most of those kills would have come from his archers there. I noticed he used his cavalry very well as well, but the main thing would have come from his archers, main kills, I think. So I'd like to say really well played to Brotherhood member Bark. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted, but he was fighting Greek cities and Brutii there. So that's probably why he didn't get the kills that he wanted. As I say, well done to Lando there, getting the highest kills in the game. Well done to Ambirox. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted there, but he was trying his best to get over to his ally. And as I say, Turk probably didn't get the kills that he wanted there, but of course he did isolate himself over on our left flank. He did open himself up to being double teamed there, which he was. So that's probably why he didn't get the kills that he would have wanted there. So well done to you guys. And well done to Brotherhood member Schemer. Really good, aggressive attacking by him. Good support as well. Well done to Steve. He was kind of like the anchor of the team, I thought Steve was. And well done to Mad King as well. I thought he got some great kills as well. So well done to you guys. And just say with Britannia, like we've talked about before, the kills that Britannia get is only like half the story. Because remember, they bring those chariots with a massive fear factor, lowering the morale of enemy troops, making them more susceptible to routing. And because they're more susceptible to routing, it kind of helps your allies to rout the enemy troops even quicker, because of course that's what the chariots make. So it's not just the attacking power of the chariots that make a difference, it's the massive fear factor they bring as well. So when you see the kills there for Britannia, that's only half the story. Okay, so I'd like to say really well played everybody in the game. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.